Today we're going to learn about a different type of graph that you can do, and it's called a stem plot. Years ago it was called a stem and leaf plot. Let me show you an example of one. Open up your books to page 14. And in the middle there in red are examples of stem plots. Okay, now if I'm talking, you're stop writing, okay? Don't be writing this while I'm talking about this. We'll get there when you get there, so don't worry about that. Anybody ever seen those before? Raise your hand if you've seen those before. Okay, quite a few of you have. I don't think they're taught very much anymore. So it's something that's not as known as it used to be, but a lot of you already have seen one of these before, which is very good. So the question is, do I do a dot plot? Do I do a stem and leaf plot? They're actually very similar. Some of you might like the stem plot better. You get a little bit different information in a stem plot than a dot plot. Some of you may like the dot plot better. To do center, shape, spread, and outliers. You have a question tonight on your homework where you get to choose. Pick which one you like better, and that's fine. All right, what is a stem plot? To me, a stem plot is just like a dot plot. Remember how a dot plot, we first drew the number line across here? A stem plot's the same way, except instead of going horizontally, it goes vertically. Okay, so here's what a stem plot's going to be. First of all, describe to you, you want to look at the observations you have, and you want to break each one of the numbers up into a stem and a leaf. I think I taught this for about 5 years. I don't think I understood this difference. So I'm writing on the board now just so you guys get it. So if I have a number, the stem is all the digits I have in that number except for the last one. The leaf is actually going to be the last digit of that number. For example, we're going to do a stem plot from those test grades. Isn't one of the test grades a 45? The 4 would be the stem, the 5 would be the leaf. I don't know, let's say one of the test grades was 256. The 2 and the 5 would be the stem, and the 6 would be the leaf. Okay? Now once we know what our stem and what our leaf is, we can then create this stem and leaf plot. Alright, so the next thing we do is we write the stem, not horizontally, this time we write it vertically. So draw a line. Remember, it's on the board, it's on your paper. And those test grades went, what, from 22 to 81? So our stems are going to go from 2 to 8. So you write those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now wrote our stems in order. And now we're going to put all the leaves in. The leaves are all the different last digits we have from those test grades. So wasn't one of the scores a 22? So we put a 2 here on the 2 line. And what that means is one of the scores was a 22. Now these need to also be in order when we put them in. You'll see that in a second. What was the next one? Hopefully you have in your calculator in order now. What was the next one? 34. Okay, so we'll just go with you. So the next one was a 34, so you put the 4 there. Next one? 38. 38 still on this line, correct? All the 30s are going to go on this particular line. So you said 38, good. What's the next one? 43. 38. I think there's another 38, isn't there? Okay, so there's 2 38s. I want to know there's 2 38s, just like I had 2 dots on my dot plot. So I would actually put another 8 right there. So there's a 22, there's a 34, there's a 38, there's another 38. All right, give me the numbers as we go now. Next one is
43.
Is there a 40? No. 43.
43. 45, 45, 50.
Okay, so 50 is going to come down here. This is the 50s row. 50.
54, 55, 59, 60, 61, 65. 66, 66, 68, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 75, 77, 78, 81.
All right, another very, very important design issue here. Make sure you line up each next layer of numbers that you have here. And one of the reasons is because we're going to look at shape. We're going to draw this picture again. I wouldn't want this 8 to be out here somewhere, so I've got a big lump out there. Okay, so keep it gonna work. Also, I don't ever want to see commas over here. I've seen stem plots that have commas or decimals. I don't want any of that stuff over here. That's what I want it to look like. All right, we're almost there. Next thing we need to do is title this, just like we've done before. So, I don't know, that's 2009, period 2, AP Stats, test scores. All right, now the last thing that's critical, and believe me, this is one of the things I'm going to be looking at when I come around tomorrow. What do these numbers mean? We need to write a key for the person looking at this that can make sense of what these numbers are. If you look in your book on page 14, you see right below the stem and leaf, there's a little bit of a key that explains what these numbers represent. So that's what we're going to do too. So down here, write key. And 5/4 means a test score of 54. So now somebody that maybe doesn't know what a stem and leaf is so much, they can say, oh yeah, 5 and the slash and the 4, that means someone got a 54 on that test. Don't forget the key. Nice complete sentence down there too. Yeah.
Does it matter which one we choose?
No, pick any one of the two.
Yes.
All right, regular stats, draw the picture. AP stats, tell me what you see from that picture. Describe the data from that picture. Like I said, it's kind of like a dot plot, isn't it? I mean, so center, go find the middle dot. Now it's not the middle dot, it's the middle number, right? Go find which one you think's in the middle somewhere. Shape. We do the same thing here. One bump, whatever you guys got. That's all we really know about shape right now, but it looks like it has one major bump. Spread. Low is 22, the high is 81, the range is, what is that, 59? Now remember, clusters and gaps. Clusters are, you know, where does it go out here the most? So I think there's kind of a cluster in the, I don't know, 60s and 70s, cluster of scores. I don't really see any gaps. And outliers from this picture, do we see any outliers? There's any crazy numbers there? No. Question. Was that description different than the one we did yesterday for the same data on the dot plot? Go look at the description we did yesterday on the dot plot. Was it exactly the same? Was it the same as the description we gave yesterday? I mean, it's the same data. I hope we have the same description. Was it? What was different, Zane?
Well, the dot plot, they're more spread out, so there's more peaks.
Didn't you guys sniff out 22 as being a little bit crazier on the dot plot yesterday? Didn't 22 stand out a little bit more yesterday, but here it didn't? I mean, that's a problem. And that's a problem you as a statistician have to rectify. The same data, different pictures can give you a different read on this. You have to figure out what's the best picture to draw. Is it a dot plot or a stem plot? But you can also manipulate the stem plot a little bit to maybe give you a little bit more information. Look at page 14. The picture on the left, the stem plot on the left, I don't get much at all about that. I mean, they only have, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and it's just one big cluster. I'm not getting a lot of the information on the other things from that picture. So one thing that you can do, and Zane said that, is spread it out. That's what's called a double stem. Let's spread it out a little bit more. Instead of putting all of the 20s here, and all the 30s here, and all the 40s here, I can break it out into a double stem. A lot of people get confused on this, so let's see if you understand it. So I'll put 2 2s here, and then all of like the 20 through 24 go here, and the 25 through 29 go here. Okay, fill out your stem, and then start putting numbers in and see what it looks like. Okay, if yours looks differently than mine, what did you do? Questions on what this looks like with a double stem? Yeah.
So with the 20s over 25, you just keep that in there, even though there's no numbers?
Good questions. The question is, well, I mean, I don't put anything here. Can I just write a 2 and be done with it? What do you guys think? Is that important? Why?
Because the whole point of spreading them out is to show the outliers the same.
Not outliers, yes, outliers there, and also
Shape.
shape, yes, and show gaps. I think that's what you said, gaps, right? So all those things. I now see 22. Hey, you're kind of out there. You're a potential outlier. I also see a gap, right, between the 22 and the 34. It becomes much more obvious. And then also in terms of shape, I still think we've got, you know, one lump. Okay, but now we see it spread out better. So which one's better? I don't know. That's your job. Which one of these graphs, or maybe a dot plot, help you best describe these four? So these are design issues that a statistician, when you're giving a presentation, you're trying to describe the data, which one of those makes best sense? I've seen some people, that's obviously wouldn't make sense in this one, but have like 5 2s here. Here's 20 and 21, here's 22 and 23, 24 and 25. Go here, really spread it out. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. You get too spread out and you really lose focus on what's important. So that's one of the decisions you have to make when you choose what graph to do, which one works well.
When they do that, like the 5 2s or whatever, is it still called a double stem, or is it?
Yeah, multi-stem. I don't know. Okay. All right. Now there's another one in your book here. Look at the data on number 15. You've got decimals now. How are you going to handle that? Well, remember that every digit that you have is the stem until the last one. Now they have a dot plot here, which is nice. They also have a stem leaf right next to it. Don't worry, so what you're seeing here, that 1, 2, 5, 7, 11, don't worry about that right now. That's not the stem, so you're going to put your finger over that. But then the stem is the 8, the 9, the 10. Right, everybody see the 10 and then the 6 next to it? One of the numbers was 10.6. So we'd actually have a line between the 8 and the 6 and so on. Okay, that would be the stem plot for that particular data. Sometimes you have data, and you know what? I don't care about those decimals. Those aren't important to me. So sometimes you might want to get data and say, I don't need all the decimals. Okay, maybe I would round all the numbers first. You have a problem like that tonight. If you go look at number 11, it's on page 18. I think these are dollars. But the person designing the stem plot doesn't care about the 11 cents on the $3.11. It's the $3 that they're interested in. So what they're going to want you to do on this problem is just round them all. So really the numbers that you're working with are 3, 9, 9, 11, and so on. And then you'll create a stem plot from those numbers. Okay? So once again, those are just design issues. What are you trying to get across to the person that you're giving this information to, and most specifically, which one's going to give you the best form. Okay? Questions? Anything we've talked about? Yeah?
Do you just round when you're using the leaf plot?
Say again?
Do you just round for number 11?
Yeah, just 11. Yeah, they want you to round on that.
Well, you round for the leaf plot, or?
Yeah, so now the numbers that you're going to have here are 3, 9, so it's like, 3, 9, 11, 11, 14. So your stem is going to go, start I guess at 0, because that's really 0, 3, 1, 2, and then you're going to have a 3, you're going to have a 9, you're going to have a 1 there to represent the 11.
Do you round for the dot plot too?
No, and that's a great point. You could do a stem plot on number 11, right? We could probably make it work. Could you do a dot plot for number 11 with all those pennies? I doubtful. It would be so long, right? So you might have to round to even think about doing a dot plot. That's great. What's different about the two? Which one do you guys like better? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. They're very similar. Which one preference do you like better? Yeah.
I like the dot plot because you don't have to put the extra step in to see the gaps where it's missing.
Okay. right off the bat, you could probably see it depending on how you set up your number line.
I like the Stemplot just because it's more, you get more accurate numbers.
I mean, you can actually see the data here, right? I mean, I guess it's on the number line. If you look down at the number line, see what the numbers, but you actually kind of throw the numbers out at you and you see them. Just design issues, which one you want to choose, yeah.
I like dot plots because you can choose the size of the increments you're working with. So you can, if you're working in a really tight range, you can expand it out more and see more of a pattern.
Do that here, can't you? I mean, this is kind of a number line that goes by tens,
Yeah, but
by fives.
you can only really separate it into like you have the regular Stemplot, and then you separate it out into, you know, less than 5 or 5 or greater to
Right.
kind of get that.
That's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
The number line kind of shows right off that. Personal preference. Any other questions?